beam weapon on the Ark to disable the Enduring Conviction, allowing her to be escorted aboard by Spartan Jerome 092 to take the ship out. The plan is approved and goes off without a hitch. On board the carrier, Jerome fights off waves of Banished while Isabel attracts the attention of the Ark's local defenses, the Sentinels. By attacking the Ark itself with the ship's glassing...
What's going on, chat? What's going on, chat? It's your boy, DJ Grimlock. Welcome to another episode of Stay Woke TV. Hey, listen. So, I have a nice little stream for y'all planned. My plan is to do the whole Halo saga. Every game. And we're going to play Infinite, since Infinite is a whole life of its own. We'll start with Infinite, and then later on, don't worry, we'll start with the Reach, obviously, because we're going to do the whole thing from the beginning to the end. And then at the end, we'll play Infinite again. And at the same time, we're still playing Fallout. God damn, bro, we got so much shit to do. God damn. All right, well, thank y'all for watching, man. It's glad to have y'all. Make sure y'all stay woke out there. This is Stay Woke TV. So let's get started. I want to get started by let y'all listening to Halo Canon. Whatever happened to that dude? Well, I guess he left, but because I'm trying to get the whole story of Halo Infinite in my head, and there's no best way to start other than Halo Canon. So let's get started, bro. Let me just stop talking. As you can see, I'm not good at making intros, but I feel like this is good enough. I don't know what else you want me to say. Yay!
beam, Isabel forces the Sentinels to take action, which they do by cutting the ship in half. With the Enduring
Gotta take a piss.
Conviction eliminated, Spirit forces move to secure the newly launched Halo ring, Installation 09, hoping to use it as a bridge back to the UNSC. Spirit forces are ultimately able to hold the ring, driving the Banished off it in extravagant fashion. However, they too are forced to evacuate the ring as it suddenly launches into slipspace with Anders aboard. Installation 09 departs for the Soel system to replace the long-destroyed Installation 04. Before arriving, however, the ring is intercepted by a Guardian Custode, forced out of slipspace mid-transit. Anders' fate remains unknown. Meanwhile on the Ark, the fight against the Banished would continue. Just a month after Anders' departure, the Banished were found to have set up cloaking and defenses around a part of the Ark, trying to hide some operation from the Spirit of Fire. ODST team Sunray 1-1 are deployed to investigate, only to find the Banished have been using the Ark systems to grow a Forerunner ship that they plan to launch at the Spirit of Fire to destroy her. Luckily, the ODSTs are able to fight off the Banished forces and destroy the ship. Yet another month later, Atriox would deploy two of his lieutenants, the brothers Pavium and Vortis of the Longshield clan, to salvage ships surrounding the remains of High Charity. While Pavium had proven a reliable warrior, Vortis' eagerness to prove himself had backfired more than once, making this his potential last chance. Despite warnings from his brother, Vortis' nature would get the better of him. Approaching the wreckage of the former Holy City, Vortis cuts through the hardlight shield containing the space station and has his men begin looking around. Instead of salvage, these Jiralhanae only find corruption and death. Weakened by the firing of Installation 08 7 years before, what remained of the Flood had been contained within High Charity. Now they were unleashed. Pavium and Vortis fought back as fiercely as possible, eventually managing to destroy the Flood's proto-gravemind and put an end to their threat. Arriving at the scene of their victory and failure, Atriox berates the Longshield brothers, ordering them to clean up their mess, then report to him. Originally intent on killing the brothers, Vortis' discovery of a semi-operational Forerunner entanglement dish spares their lives. If Vortis could get it working, Atriox would finally be able to contact his forces in the Milky Way. Further, a follow-up raid into High Charity would uncover access codes for the Anodyne Spirit, aka the Forerunner dreadnought that had once resided within High Charity. Atriox organizes a raid on the Forerunner ship, hoping to access it and recover an artifact known as the Holy Light. In truth, 3 fragments of a Forerunner slipspace crystal, these would give Atriox his path back to the Milky Way. The raid is ultimately a success, but a costly one. Not only are banished forces lost during the operation, but they accidentally awaken an unknown threat: the Covenant. It would seem that a contingent of Covenant forces that had traveled to the Ark with the Prophet of Truth had remained within the Dreadnought, awaiting divine transcendence. Now aware of the banished presence and wanting to escape the Ark themselves, this last vestige of the true Covenant emerged from their hold and prepare to wage war once more. With the slipspace shards in hand and a working Forerunner entanglement dish, Atriox contacts his former mentor and the one he left in charge of the banished while he was at the Ark, Escharum. He informs Escharum of his way to return to the galaxy and orders 3 banished clans to begin searching the human colony world of Reach. Hidden on the planet, the Portal Under the Mountain, as it was called, would be Atriox's route back to the Milky Way. However, as he prepared things on his end, the Covenant attacked, hoping to take back the Holy Light. While Atriox defended the portal site on the Ark, the Banished deployed 3 clans to Reach to find the portal under the mountain: the Legion of the Corpse Moon, the Ravaged Tusks, and the Keepers of the One Freedom. The Keepers were a Gerald Hanai-led Covenant splinter group that still believed in the Great Journey, while also allowing humans into their ranks. For more than 2 months, these clans searched for the portal to no avail. All the while, only the Keepers seemed to truly be searching, the Ravaged Tusks and Legion mostly fighting for control of the few resources the planet still held, such as those brought by rehabilitation pioneers hoping to reclaim Reach. However, in October 2559, a year after Cortana had taken control of the galaxy, the UNSC Infinity launched Operation Wolf. Sending the 4 Spartans of Blue Team to Reach, now outfitted with the latest Gen 3 Mjolnir armor, the Spartans were to dig their way into the remains of Castle Base and access Dr. Halsey's lab. There, they would retrieve 3 cryobins, containers meant to hold and preserve organic tissue, and a 4th item sealed into a locked sword-based container. With the Banished operating on Reach, Blue Team's mission was anything but smooth. The Spartans were eventually forced to request reinforcements from the Infinity to stage a full takeback of Reach in order to complete their mission, which they are ultimately able to do. The Banished were equally successful, discovering their portal under the mountain beneath what remained of the Menakite Mountain, the mountain that also once held Castle Base. Upon activating the portal, Atriox and several of his lieutenants come through in a Lich, finally return to the galaxy. Wanting to visit the final home of their gods, the Keepers of the One Freedom, led by a Gerald Hanai named Castor, board the Lich and depart for the Ark. There, they will finally start the Great Journey. They are additionally joined by a former assassin of the Silent Shadow, Inslan Gadogai. The Sangheili had been ordered to watch over Castor by Atriox himself. During a final moment of confrontation, when ordered to cut Castor down, 4 of the Keepers' human members had locked their guns on Gadogai. His only chance in that situation to survive had been to join the Keepers. Their respective missions complete, the UNSC and Banished both depart from Reach, their fighting having attracted the attention of Cortana and her guardians. One step in the fight against Cortana had been completed, but many more remained. Meanwhile, the Keepers of the One Freedom find themselves thrust into battle on the Ark between the Banished forces under the command of Let Valir and the Covenant remnant under the command of a San Shayun Prelate, an augmented warrior capable of fighting Sangheili and Spartans. Upon meeting, the Covenant remnant were uneasy with, even hostile towards, the Keepers of the One Freedom. Despite their shared goal of activating the Halo Array, the remnant still held to the belief that humans were unclean heretics. An uneasy alliance was only achieved thanks to the sudden appearance of an oracle. Known as Intrepid Eye, this Archeon-class Ancilla was originally from the human colony of Gao and had been recovered by the UNSC for analysis. In that time, she had manipulated the UNSC and Keepers towards her own goal, making humanity worthy of the mantle of responsibility by any means necessary. After repeated failures and almost being destroyed, Intrepid Eye had decided that the galaxy needed to be wiped clean once again, after which she'd use the facilities on the Ark to make a human race worthy of the mantle. And to do that, she would use the faith of these 2 factions to her advantage. Unknown to Intrepid Eye, the Keepers, or the Covenant, there were 4 people present to stop them: Veda Lopez and her Ferret Squad. A former detective also from the planet Gao, after working together with Spartan 3's Mark G313, Olivia G291, and Ash G099, Veda became something of a mother figure to them and joined Oni to ensure that they would be treated well and cared for. 2 years prior, the team, who had previously thwarted the plans of Castor and Intrepid Eye on a couple occasions, infiltrated the Keepers to eliminate them once and for all. Veda and her team do all that they can to sabotage the Keepers and Covenant efforts without being caught, but they are eventually exposed by Intrepid Eye and forced to escape. They meet up with forces from the Spirit of Fire and are able to solicit help in stopping the Keepers and Covenant. Veda provides coordinates for a drop-off point the Keepers and Covenant were planning to use to gather some additional firepower, hoping to stop them there. The Spirit successfully eliminates several Seraph fighters, but they turn out to be banished forces that had also been tricked. The drop-off was a misdirect. Luckily, Veda and her ferrets are able to catch up with the Keepers, though are unable to stop them. Instead, Veda plans to let herself be captured so she can plant a beacon in the Citadel, the location from which the Halo array would be activated, for the Spirit of Fire to aim its Mac gun at. Afterwards, she simply has faith that her ferrets will save her. Ultimately, they are successful, though it comes as a close call. The Spirit of Fire begins firing while everyone is still in the Citadel, and they just barely escape, though so do the Prelate, Castor, and Gato Guy. Unfortunately, Mark G313 would lose his life during the mission, his neck snapped by the Prelate. Though Castor and Inslon Gato Guy escaped, they were now the last of the Keepers, and Castor now knew that the Halos were merely weapons, not holy relics. Finally, meeting with Captain Cutter of the Spirit of Fire, Veda fills him in on her story while also hearing about the spirits. While threats remained, together they would be able to overcome whatever came their way. Meanwhile, near the wreckage of the Citadel, Pavium and Vortis emerged from the battle. The pair had been tracking the Keepers and Covenant, hoping to stop them and earn back some level of respect among the Banished. Though they had ultimately been useless in stopping the Halo threat, no one who mattered had survived to contradict any story the brothers chose to report to Let Valir. From there, the story gets a little hazy as we enter territory that has not been formally revealed yet. There's much to discover between October of 2559, the setting of Shadows of Reach and Divine Wind, and the start of Halo Infinite in May of 2560. Still, we do have some clues. In the months following Operation Wolf, Dr. Halsey created a new smart AI known only as the weapon to counter Cortana. By installing her on an installation somewhere on Zeta Halo, the weapon could imitate Cortana, luring the Galactic Overlord into a trap. After she was locked down, the weapon would automatically terminate, and the Chief would return Cortana to Infinity for deletion. However, around December 13th of 2559, the UNSC were operating on Halo Installation 07, Zeta Halo, when they were suddenly ambushed by the Banished. The conflict left the UNSC devastated and with limited operational capacity. Zeta Halo 2 would suffer extensive damage. On the ring's surface, surviving forces begin resisting the Banished occupiers, waiting, hoping for something to turn the tide. And there we have it, everything from the rise of Cortana to the defeat of the UNSC at Zeta Halo, or at least as much as we know about this time period as of the making of this video. Hopefully you all found this useful in getting caught up on Halo's story after Halo 5. Let me know in the comments below.
All right,
thank you for watching.
I'm gonna restart.
Stick around
the
for the
stream
Patreon
'cause I
shout.
wanted to make sure everything is working, and let me just make sure. Yes, everything is working. So let me restart the stream. I think I'm gonna change everything back to normal, cause this type of changing the whole platforms, it's like it just don't work. I think I'm already known on the settings that I know. Like, so changing the settings is I don't know. To me, it just doesn't seem like it's gonna work. But I'm gonna get like 4 people in here. Like, is it really worth it? But that's pretty cool. Now I'm just looking at the followers and stuff. All right, listen, I'm gonna be back here in 10 minutes, and then we'll start the game. Very interesting. I didn't expect it to be like this. All right, we'll figure it out.